One Piece chapter 1064 was an amazing spectacle where Oda did something that he'd never done ever in the story 1064 chapters in. Oda seamlessly transitioned between the cover story and the actual manga in the same chapter. In chapter 1064, the cover page, the cover story, had Charlotte Pudding being captured by Van Augur and Aokiji. In the same chapter, we saw Pudding on the boat of the Blackbeard pirates talking about Big Mom possibly being dead. Some thought it was Pudding confirming Big Mom was dead. Where did I stand? You gotta go back and watch the review. No, I think it's confirming that she's alive. I mean, I never thought she was dead, and this confirmed it for me for sure, like 100%. One Piece makes me think more and more of how truly hectic everything would be if everyone was walking around with devil fruit powers, haki, black blades, and even more crazy weapons. But it sounds like fun. And today's sponsor, Honkai Impact, gives you that same epic feeling. In this Honkai corrupt world, Valkyries, warriors of Shixao, the most powerful organization on Earth, and our heroes are imbued with the very genes capable of countering the embodiment of chaos. Honkai, a raw, unbridled phenomenon whose ultimate goal is to destroy humanity. You are the captain commanding these Valkyries. You must face humanity's greatest enemy along their side. So enjoy this experience with a high-quality, action-packed waifu game. Li Sushang is a swordsman born in the Shenzhou 500 years ago. When she was 15, she was instructed by her master to head out on her own and take on the trials. She then met Otto and became his friends during that time, but she was seriously injured afterwards. Otto used Shixao technology to cryogenically freeze her before waking her up in Kolostin. Li Sushang stands firmly on her sword while using her agility to warp throughout the sword array. She is so graceful and agile. She constantly generates flying swords to strike enemies, trapping them in the array. Li Sushang can also generate a colossal sword from above to dominate the field with crushing momentum. So, guys, if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, join now with the link in the description below and receive your surprise reward. But you know why we're here, to talk about chapter 1065, and of course I got you guys' responses in regards to what could happen, and I wanted to get this out as early as possible so that we didn't have any confusion in regards to spoilers, right? So I wanted to get it out early so we can make our predictions, me and the chat and me and the people in the community tab, just trying to figure out what's going to happen in chapter 1065. So typically how I do it, I base things off of 1064, then we go from there, because that's kind of the easiest way to do it. We're always going to be somewhat wrong because there are things that can come out of nowhere where we don't expect, and Oda can throw us curveballs. But based off of what we know, chapter 1064, this ended off with Dragon and Vegapunk. And as I've been saying before, Oda in the past, he definitely did a thing where he did not reveal information he presented in the story. I don't think that's the case anymore. I think Oda starts off by giving us some backstory with Vegapunk and Dragon. Maybe we do get some information on the Stellar Body, but I do not think Oda drags this out. It's been shown time and time again, Oda has been willing, especially in this final arc, rather final saga, to express his thoughts from chapter to chapter and not letting it linger for too long. Yes, I remember the man with the burn scar. Yes, I remember the man that Caribou is supposedly working with. However, I'm going off of his track record. We get something with Dragon and Vegapunk, maybe a couple panels, a couple pictures. It is happening next chapter. Before that, we saw the other group. They finally got their attire, and that's when we compared Nami and Robin. Robin completely smoked Nami last week. Not sure if Nami can make up the distance at this point because they're stuck in this until we leave the island. This is the group that's going to get the most insight in regards to Vegapunk, considering who is there with them. Frankie, right? And I think Vegapunk is going to look at Frankie and going to ask some questions of Frankie in regards to how he constructed his body and how he maintains his sentience, because I do think Vegapunk can learn from Frankie. I believe we get a devil fruit reveal here in regards to Vegapunk and what his devil fruit actually is. Then a cliffhanger, of course, in regards to devil fruits at the end. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the people that were left on the ship, Brook and Zoro. I think at some point Zoro does get lost because he goes chasing after something. Something significant will happen on the ship for them to leave it, because I do think the ship will be somewhat stolen or apprehended, kidnapped, because it's going to be explored by Vegapunk. But of course Zoro gets lost. But I do think there is a moment which Zoro explores some swordsman stuff. Not in this chapter though, that comes down the line, because Oda did subtly reveal a freaking lightsaber sword that Bonnie had. So maybe it wasn't so subtle because I noticed it, but I was like, yo, wait, what do we have here? Maybe Zoro doesn't actually use this thing, or maybe uses it once in Egghead, but Zoro's gonna maintain his 3 blades until he goes to the Gorosei and he gets that blade from Gandhi. Next, I know the elephant in the room, or the hippo in the room, depending on how you feel about Blackbeard and different theories out there. Blackbeard versus Law. Does that get resolved? Well, I do think it gets resolved, but we do not see the conclusion. I think this is what Oda's gonna do. He's given us a lot of it, but we do not see the conclusion. Now, I don't think this is the end of seeing Blackbeard. I think Law ultimately survives. He's too important to kill. You just don't do that, so I think Law is fine. However, they do get the rubbings. It makes too much sense for Blackbeard to leave and get the rubbings and pretty much leave Law alone because he has shown no interest in Law's fruit. So I'm tempted to say we do see Big Mom next chapter, like a quick cutaway to confirm that she is alive. I'm gonna hold back on that. But something I also wanted to cover is Aokiji, and I've mentioned it before. If Aokiji is on that ship, Law and his entire crew, they're done for, because Aokiji and the power he wields, the AoE is incredible, and he can do it instantly. So Law, you can only hope that Aokiji went to the North Pole to help out Santa, because that would be your gift for the year, considering just what this man can do. Of course, still shrouded in mystery, definitely trying to get in good with Blackbeard by bringing him Pudding. Interestingly enough, maybe he knows that Pudding is not awakened and he's bringing Blackbeard somewhat something that he knows cannot help him to somewhat protect Nico Robin as well. We have not thought about that aspect where he understands what Blackbeard is going for. So instead of having them going after Nico Robin, which could blow his cover because we understand his relationship with her, he's like, you know what, let's go after Pudding. Okay, this is another way we can do it. We don't have to deal with the Straw Hats. We can fight them at some other time. This is much easier considering Big Mom is not in Whole Cake Island right now, and Katakuri is occupied, so he can't really beat my ass. All right, he didn't say nothing like that. However, this is something I was thinking about. Like, Katakuri, he escaped. Aokiji escaped Katakuri. What am I saying? But I wasn't the only person that made prediction. I definitely put it in the community tab to get you guys' feedback on what happens in 1065, and now is the time to look at what you guys said and read the best responses. So now is the perfect time for you to subscribe, because once you subscribe, you see the community post and you can get your comment read or just shown in the video and get a direct response, and if I agree or disagree. Okay, so click that red button, drop a like. First by You're Welcome, he says, I think the Law fight is done. Don't get me wrong, it'd be epic to see it continue, but how often do fights that don't involve the Straw Hats been shown the whole way through? Seriously, I'm too lazy to check. I could be wrong, but also hopefully more on that call with Dragon and another Stella. I'm hoping for more CP0 development, or just island world building would be nice. More Nico, Nami, and Jules in their new fits, please. Okay, so he's a pretty horny fellow. Seeing more of the fight would be a stretch. Loki would love that, but it is a stretch considering how Oda typically moves. Hunter Ronan says, I hope we see the main Stella body and we see the man marked by flames. I think we'll see some more things with the remaining Marines we know should be there. So Smoker, more Helmeppo, and the rest of the sword members we know to be there. I think Dragon will also respond to Vega's comment. Now, Smoker, I've been saying he shows up in the next 5 chapters. That's my prediction. Helmeppo, of course, some Kobe, and just see exactly where the Blackbeard Pirates are storing Kobe. I think that's something we got to see. The rest of the sword members, at some point, are going to make their way to Egghead because Rob Lucci's making his way there. Even though it was a direct order by the world government, I wonder if they're going to just adhere to it, right? Or are they going to help the Straw Hats or help Rob Lucci? We'll see. Trevor Yo says, cutaways for the whole chapter just on the forest on Whole Cake Island. What the trees are doing, how the waters are flowing, you know, real nature, good stuff. Trevor, what the hell are you talking about? Joseph's B-Job says, I really want to see the bounties for the Marines, but I guess that won't happen until the end of this arc. Oda would have to do a serious cutaway for us to get some bounties from Akainu and them boys. I do think at some point we do get those bounties, just like, it'd be so random if we got it. We did get an Akainu cutaway, which was random as well, so I don't want to rule anything out. I just feel like this is something that's kind of unlikely. To those who may be concerned, said, like 70% of the chapter is based in what's going on with Luffy and the crew. Maybe they meet a new Vegapunk, and the last 30% is what's going on with Law and Kid. Yeah, that's something I was thinking about just recently in regards to what if we get a Kid cutaway at this point, because I think we're following these 3 guys in the New World post Wano. If we get a Kid cutaway to what's going on with him, what could possibly be going on with him that could equal what's going on now? Well, let me tell you guys, Kid versus Shanks, right? Round 2. Of course, I don't think Shanks would take it any easier, and considering Shanks was just in Wano, he's not that far from what we know, from what we think, but they say he can time travel, so I don't know. Hisoka Moro says, Luffy discovers that his devil fruit has the properties of bungee gum. You know, I was like, is Hisoka going to talk about himself? And in fact, he did. All D Blue says, impressive double page spread of Frankie showing Vegapunk his nipple lights. What more could you ask for? Nika says, Luffy and Jinbei burst through Vegapunk's lab doors where they find your mom waiting for them. Fuck you, alright? That was personal. You didn't have to go there, Nika. Why you gotta be a Nika all the time? Amon goes on to say, this is the right time for Blackbeard to get his Zoan Devil Fruit. I guess Sengoku will save Law and it'll be the same like the time Korozon saved him. As for Sengoku, he will die here. Blackbeard will get the mythical Zoan Buddha Buddha Devil Fruit. It also makes sense because Oda has not shown his full power. Blackbeard getting Kaido and Oroshi's Devil Fruit makes less sense. We will get to witness the duel between Mythical Zone Nika versus Mythical Zone Buddha, God versus God. Now, this is not a bad theory that Sengoku saves Law. Not that terrible, but him getting the Mythical Zone Buddha, I mean, I've heard crazier things. It's just yikes. But yeah, guys, give me your thoughts. What do you think happens in chapter 1065 again? I do agree we get some other group stuff. I think we get some Swordsman Zoro stuff. Definitely get some wrap up in regards to Blackbeard and Law. Not the entirety of the fight. Would not be surprised if we got it. I do think Oda gives us some more on Dragon and Vegapunk because he's been shown to do that, especially recently in the final saga. So guys, give me your thoughts. Make sure to like the video if you did. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Follow me on Twitter at BragoDAce. Follow me on Instagram at Bragody.ace. Thank you to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. And you guys be sure to like and subscribe. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Okay, I start doubting me, I felt lost. I rewrite it.